Good morning, everybody. I don't really know what's going on this morning. My YouTube account isn't uploading any other videos. I've tried a few times, but it's not having any of it. So I thought I'd do a live stream, get my point across. It was all about the Monday morning overview anyway. So if this shows, it shows. If it doesn't show, it doesn't show. I don't know. Something weird's going on with YouTube. So, but you can always, if you, I mean, obviously, if I'm talking to myself, that's one thing. But you can always subscribe on Rumble. That never seems to have a problem. Right, so this morning, let's get stuck into what I think is the general vibe. We've got a Dixie downtrending, hitting an hourly 50 exponential moving average. We can take it to a 4 hourly, where we see that for the most part, we're down below the majors, which are the 200 simple and exponential after death crosses. Getting rejected on a death cross retest over here, which is, kind of cool. And a support so far on the 50, on the 21 exponential, and the 20 is just down below here. So actually, it does look like it wants to go down. Actually, the Dixie, surprisingly, it looks like it wants to go down. The daily is still below all moving averages as well. So we should be looking to see this revisit some of these lower zones, probably getting closer to 103.5. Where we basically bounced around these areas, just a little lower than that. So the Dixie's doing that, and the S&P, we'll look at the futures. S&P futures is moving up a little bit now after one single drive of hidden bullish divergence. That's not to take away the fact that we closed a weekly like this, and we're bouncing on a 7 simple, so that could end up being like quite a bullish move. The last stages of any rally are born on a 7 simple moving average. So this could go up to a new all-time high, and then that's it. It comes back down for a much bigger pullback. So at the moment, stocks, umming and ahhing about what it wants to do. Oil came down quite a lot, and it's probably got a little further to run down, maybe 76 or something along those lines. And then when it comes to crypto, we've got Bitcoin dominance, which is still uptrending. Hasn't closed below the weekly Bollinger Band since down at here when it retested the 200. So until we see a closure below either the 20 weekly or the 21 exponential, this is a dominant chart. So Bitcoin is still dominant. Total 2 closed above the 20 weekly last night. At the moment, we're sort of dipping down below it, so very early days. Again, this is only just freshly closed, and it was a very big move over the last couple of weeks. So with that in mind, we might as well go and have a look at the rest of the charts. And again, I'm only doing this live stream in the hope that it actually gets onto YouTube, because for some reason, some weird things been going on with my YouTube account this morning. All right, Bitcoin. Let's have a look. Weekly, similar to the total 2, but more bullish. We closed inside the zone of significance. The 20 weekly sitting at the bottom of there, which is 65,500. We see any more pullback from there. The 21 should take it, and that's 62,000. These are really big supports here. And if we do close below there again, I would probably be looking at this to make a new lower low, because these would be a series of lower highs. It's quite sort of, I suppose, easier to see when you just slice through it like this. All right, fine. Candle body basis on the weekly is a descending level of resistance, so we can think about that as maybe this is a lower high that goes to a lower low. But if we are going to pull back, watch your area here and you watch it here. If you take it down a notch to a different time frame, we're above all moving averages and we don't have any bearish divergence. The money flow index is getting a little high, but it's not overextended, so it can easily go for more. So like I say, it's not clear exactly what it wants to do, but based on the trend, it wants to go up. However, we are pushing a resistance. And the 4 hourly, we do have bearish divergence, and it's getting picked up at every opportunity, being the Bollinger Band center. If we do dig down lower, look, it's that $62,000 zone, giving us those 2 golden cross retests on simples and exponentials. So that's quite nice, quite reassuring to see that type of thing. All right, so we've got some people tuning in. Like I said, I don't normally do these live streams. It's just that YouTube's been weird, and so I've decided to do one. It's not uploading my video this morning. I do live streams for Patreon members twice a week, but I thought this would be a nice little morning overview. Maybe I could do these on Mondays anyway, once the kids are all out, which they are. So there's your brief overview of stocks, commodities, forex, and crypto. One thing I've been looking at this morning is XRP's reasonable strength. Get off the 1 hourly. Obviously, I've been trying to get myself a position on this one. I'm in a position at the moment just for a little scalpy trade because it looks quite good. So We'll start with this version, the XRP BTC. So this is XRP Bitcoin on the weekly. A change of behaviour, I believe, is confirmed. This is the first closure, really, over the last few weeks above the 20 weekly than we've had since this big, massive parabolic move that happened basically like a month. I mean, not a month, a year ago. So we talk about change of behaviour. You know, this obviously exploded out, hit the death cross, and then came all the way down to close to new lows, really. The change of behaviour really took place when you closed below the 20 weekly, and that was it. Retest, down, some sort of dead cat bounce, continuation down. So we're looking at XRP to have a change of behaviour the opposite way. This isn't a parabolic move. This is creeping outside of a Bollinger Band. This is creeping towards the top of the range. And yeah, we can see this one moving up gradually, slowly and surely at this point in a constructive way. The histogram's been ticking along just nicely down here with bullish divergence on the RSI and on the money flow index, suggesting that there should be some kind of reversal with a rounded bottom here. And now we're starting to see the signs of that. Now, if this does carry on, you know, the targets would be, you know, maybe up to just over 2,000 sats. It's not huge. I know that, you know, that's not like massive moves, but all we want to do with altcoins generally is outperform Bitcoin. That's all we want to do. We recognize that Bitcoin is driving the market. Bitcoin dominance looks like it wants to keep moving. So if you really want to try and trade something that's going to outperform Bitcoin, you kind of have to look at those sort of things, really. The XRP to Bitcoin pair, like I say, is good, but the tether pair also looks good. So we're above all moving averages. Unlike things like this is ICP for an example, and there's loads of altcoins that look like this. We look at them on the Patreon, I'd say at least more than half of the altcoins look like this. And this is what we were sort of waiting for and assuming was going to happen. We're going to have a rally into a death cross and then that's it. So from the support to the resistance, it was a 45% move. But from wick to wick, it was like an 89% move. That's a really big move, but really, it's still a bearish chart. And I always try and tell people to do this. You know, if you want to check your bias, look at this. This is an uptrend. We reclaimed moving averages. We reclaimed areas of resistance. We maintained areas above a Bollinger Band. We came down into a golden cross to retest it. If you were going to be bullish on it, you'd be bullish here. But unfortunately, this is the opposite of what we're looking at, and this is what we're looking at. So it's still technically a bearish chart. Only will it be bullish once we've reclaimed all moving averages, like XRP. So I'm not trying to highlight XRP as like the best thing you've ever seen, but you know, when altcoins all follow one giant move, a lot of them look the same. And some might be more volatile than others. It could be a liquidity issue, could be you know, self-promotion, community sort of self-fulfilling prophecy. Buy now, buy now. Loads of people say it, everybody does it. Influencers have influence on the market. But yeah, for the most part, most altcoins are doing death cross retests, but XRP isn't. There are a few that aren't. Obviously, Bitcoin's not doing it, Ethereum's not doing it, XRP's not doing it, Solana's not doing it, Pepe's not doing it. These are the charts that sort of stand out as a little bit different. And I'm not saying that these are the things you should definitely buy right now. I'm just saying that the market usually moves as one. Most altcoins move as one, and their charts reflect that. They all have the same kind of charts, really. But XRP is different. So first level of resistance we're pushing up towards now, around 61 cents. You break that, you'll be looking straight up to around 67 cents, I would say. Take ourselves to the weekly. We're fighting with this 200 simple moving average. And if you're looking to see some really big moves on this, you really do have to start reclaiming all these areas. And we're quite far away from getting any pump or trend signal on the itchy cloud. So should, hopefully, if anything, this will be a slow burn on XRP, slowly regaining some strength. We don't want to see it do these sort of things. And my fear is that that's the sort of thing that we will do, because that's what XRP generally does do. And if you do get these sort of moves, I don't expect it to hold its price. I'd love it to. I don't expect it to, because why would it? Because it never does. So if we do get a big move like this, based on the momentum at the moment and how it's not overheated, we could see XRP rally up to that 120 zone. Whether it can hold it or not is a different story. And again, I'm not saying that's going to happen today. It probably isn't going to happen. But if it were to happen, I reckon it would fizzle out around here. Right, let's have a look. It did upload your video from this morning. I just watched it. Oh, right, okay. Well, that's a problem on my YouTube, whatever it was. Anyway, so I suppose I've just reiterated everything that I said on the video to an extent. So if there's anything that anyone wants me to look at, I can look at it. I see there's 7 people here, 2 likes. I don't mind sticking around for an hour or so. I've got really not much else to do. I'm just sitting around sort of working out if I can make some decent money. I've got a trade going on XRP at the moment, but whether I hold it is a different story. I'm just going to be sitting twiddling my thumbs. On a personal note, I've sprained my ankle big time. I've never done it before. I rolled my ankle while I was carrying both my kids in some sort of ditch that I fell into. Bloody hell. So, as far as being active, I'm kind of out of order at the moment. A massive bruise all down my ankle. Right, well, I'll tell you what, if there's any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'm just going to do my usual routine, which I do in secret on my own and don't make videos of. So let's have a look at stuff like Solana. Not that I'm a big Solana fan, but I do own some, but quite clearly not enough. This is a banging chart, and it was probably going to maintain its banging projection. Yeah, so this is a full-on breakout. Look at that last week there that we've had. We do have ever so subtle bearish divergence, and you're almost certainly going to get a third drive of this. So I think the next big move up here will cause quite a larger pullback. But for the moment, it looks really good, strong, and ready to keep going. Bearish divergence, none of that on this daily. Not yet. I probably won't see that. Pulling back from this area, front-running that previous local high. What you could be looking at here is something along these lines, which is a technical breakout. And if you're looking for a pullback, considering we've already hit that first area, the pullback ought to really take you no deeper than the triangle itself, so maybe around 62, 63, where the 10 exponential is, which again is very bullish. So look at the 4 hourly. Okay, this is the 50 exponential, all part of this golden cross. Is also there. So if you do pull back, supports would exist around 72.50 and like 163, sorry. Pretty sweet. Let's have a look at Pepe, because that was also a really good chart. Let's see how that's faring up today. Okay, so the golden cross at this point looks like it could easily get retested, and if that is the case, then I think I might put a position in around there today, just for a trade. Wow, there's a 10% drop down towards the 200 simple and exponential. So that's quite a long drop, isn't it? You can see how like beastly this chart is. It makes more sense when you look at it on the daily. You can really take a stand back in all its glory. You know, forget the size of the moves, which are enormous as a 10x basically just from there. Pull back, and then we have another 3x there. So as a golden cross retest, bang, bang, up. This is also a technical breakout, so just performing just like Solana and well, some of the other better looking charts. Here's a technical breakout, and you'll be looking for a pullback either to the 10 exponential, which is 1163, 21, 1113, or at the lowest you'll be looking for would be 1034. So moving averages should catch it. Despite it being a bullish chart, there isn't any pump signals taking place on this one at the moment. There's no pump signals available to see. We're close to getting one on the 12 hourly. So if you see candles closing, and again it has to be a 12 hourly close above 1294, you'd get a pump signal. So any dip on that point, based on the 12 hourly, ought to get bought, and that should push you up to like 1.4, maybe even higher, 1.5, 1.550. Right, this is looking pretty sweet. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, the COVID's gone. I've got a not broken ankle, but the ankle's wrecked now. Yeah, just one thing to the next for me. Hey, would you mind reviewing EWT? It's gone downhill faster than... I can't see that, but I'm sure it's witty. I remain hopeful. Yeah, let's have a look at that. That often does underperform. I've noticed that because I held a lot of it for a while and it was not doing very well. How hard has it been hit? Yeah, it's been hit hard again, hasn't it, really? Been hit hard again. So on a technical basis, on this weekly that we're looking at here, there is no signals on that weekly. On the momentum, there's also no signals on the weekly there. You have to ask yourself, why is it getting hit so hard, really? Hidden bullish divergence, not enough to break this trend. Death cross. So this one is probably, yeah, you're right, is one of the weaker ones that we've seen. If you were to get a death cross retest on this one, it would push it up like 28%. So the top target, based on any kind of dead cat bounce that I would be looking at, would be up to around 147. Because this is what other altcoins have been doing. You know, the ICP is an example of that. It's just doing it now. You had that big move. So from the support, this is where, you know, one of the areas that dollar cost averaged from, to where we are basically that 200 exponential. That is a dead cat bounce of 44%. If you measure from wick to wick, it's a very different story. It's about 86, 89, 87%. But it's still a dead cat bounce. Yeah, like I say, invert the scales, check your bias. This is an uptrend. We love it. Reclaiming areas that have lost areas. Yeah, reclaiming Bollinger Bands, reclaiming another lost area, moving all the way up, pulling back into a golden cross. You'd expect a V-shaped recovery and then some, but unfortunately you flip it back to reality and it's the opposite of that. So it's actually a bearish retest. And until we see a break above these areas, really, you would be looking for it to come back down to where it came from. Now, this is just ICP. Yeah, I was saying that it's going to do that. It will be propped up by a bullish market if the market were to continue to be bullish, which I hope it is. Again, highlighting these areas on Bitcoin, 62,000-ish area, 61,500. Very strong areas of support. Again, even highlighted on the weekly here, 62,000 is your 21 exponential. It's all good for Bitcoin around that 62,000, but if we do lose that, you run the risk of not just revisiting these lost areas like the 200 exponential down at 59, but probably even a new low. Take it to a weekly again, the 50 exponentials at 52. So you can't rule it out. It could easily happen. And again, something like ICP is doing a bearish retest, and your friend EWT is not even doing that. It's positioned to go down further. If we to basically think about why are these candles holding here, there's not really any reason why. This coin has been shilled a lot. I've always seen it get shilled over the years, and if you go back in time long enough to see where it came from, you might change your opinion as to why you might want it. I'm not saying that it doesn't have value or use case or could even make its way into the double-digit dollars, but it used to be worth like fractions of a cent. It's up hundreds of thousands, I think, maybe, of percent. It's up a lot, basically. Which means that, there's been a lot of money made from it. It's held a certain value. It's the same thing with XRP. Think about that. And it's not something that people ever choose to reflect on, but XRP used to trade at fractions of a cent, right? That's true. It did. I bought it when it was like 3 cents for the very first time. And that was like a FOMO in a way. Well, it was just bad timing. So people don't look back and go, hang on a minute, where have these things come from? Well, they have come from very, very low prices. XRP up 100x or more from its lows. Well, it will be up more than 100x. It might even be close to 200x from its low, from its humble beginnings. 200x, and it still sustained a price 200x from where it came from. You can't say that for everything, can you? EWT is obviously up massively compared to where it came from, but the higher it goes, the higher the market cap, the smaller generally the move. So I don't know. Based on the chart, it doesn't look very good. Best you could hope for would be a dead cat bouncer around 147, I think it was, wasn't it, really? If you're going to look at Metis, Tether, I'd really appreciate it. Let's have a look at that, Metis. Oh, it's on Binance, right. Let's have a look at this thing. So it's not a very old chart. Basically, the daily was born and then it died, and it continues to die. It's a down-only chart, really. There is no 200 exponential on here, but if we were to have one, I'd imagine it would have death crossed. We're getting a rejection on the 50 exponential moving average on the daily here, and the money flow index is quite high. We don't have much information because the chart is very young. But the last time it got this high, it dropped significantly. So the last time we got overheated money flow index read, we danced around a little bit, and then that's it. It fell down with the rest of the market. So it is overheated based on what we have to reference it to. So maybe a pullback on this one down to 43, 44. It's the centre of the Bollinger Band, which is in favour of a bounce from around there. Maybe you get that. So let's have a look on the 4 hourly to see if there's anything going on there. So we've reclaimed moving averages here, and there is a golden cross on simple moving averages down here on the 4 hourly. I think time will tell. There is some kind of change of behaviour going on over here, and this is more constructive than this big massive rocket up here where we did retest it and then we fell. So perhaps maybe the 4 hourly could be somewhat useful, but I'd still have to wait a few more days to see what the rest of the market does, because this is so young. Remember, for me, all indicators are created using either price, volume, and time, combination of those. So when you have a chart that's really not very old at all, like this, it's not that old, is it? And it's a down-only chart that, it's very young, and it only looks like this. There's no reason to imagine that it's going to change or turn around for any real reason. We're overheated on the money flow index here, which is the risk to reward is never going to be good when you have something like this, because of course it can go up higher, but it's likely to sell off if it does. This would be much better if we had a low money flow index read or some bullish divergence on the money flow index read. But we don't, we've just got it overheated. So I think it's probably best to stay away from something quite as crazy as that. HA Cash, never heard of it. Right. Bloody hell. I really do notice a difference when doing these public streams versus the Patreon streams, because, you know, what do you want me to say about it? You know already what you're looking at there. You're looking at a chart which is absolutely wrecked city. It came onto here and then it just died, and it continues to die. There is some hidden bullish divergence, but it's not really doing anything, and why should it? Why should it do anything? Again, I don't really think looking at a chart like this has anything to offer. If it can't move with the rest of the market, when the rest of the market goes green and has sustained green over the last 2 weeks, and this can't, there's clearly a problem with it. I think it's probably best just to leave it alone, and that's the right thing to say. How about full analysis on Link? Go on then, let's have a look at something real, because that was just shocking to see. And then I think I'll leave it there, because if my video is uploaded anyway, then there's really no need to do this stream at all. Right, so classic death cross retest. This is what we were saying. This is why I was highlighting something like Pepe and XRP as and you know, Ethereum and Bitcoin as different, because they are not doing this. Most altcoins are doing this, exactly this. So they've moved up into a 200 exponential after a death cross, and that's where you're getting rejected from. So any moving average at this point is now going to be fair game to try it from, depending on your risk tolerance and how bullish you are. The 50 exponential is where we are right now, 1426. Below that, the 10 exponential, 1398. 21, 1382, and the Bollinger Band itself, 1340. Remember, if I inverted this scale, you would be bullish on this. Lows in, high, higher low, higher high, going crash, retest. We're going to V-shape recovery and go into the next major area. But that's not the truth, is it? Because we invert the scale and oh, fuck. That doesn't mean that I'm not bullish on this. Remember, I've been buying Chainlink in this accumulation zone, and I've been telling everybody to do it day in, well, week in, week out, twice a week for a year. And then we got the breakout. Now, yeah, there's a head and shoulders pattern form here. This could result in a pushback all the way down to the top of the accumulation zone. It could. The death cross suggests we get rejected from here, and you can only be bullish until we've lost at least the major support down here. But first and foremost, the most important thing to recognise is that the market is doing exactly what we expected it to do, which is to have a rally into a death cross, and that's where we take profit from. So this has done exactly that. It's rallied into the death cross. If that was a trade, you take profit from it. If it's a dollar cost average long-term portfolio position, then you hold it and you don't really care about all this, because your bias is on a different time frame, and it'll be like something like this, the weekly, which actually is really bullish with the golden cross, with the retest. And now all you're doing is waiting, and obviously it's a weekly, so you might be waiting for weeks or months, potentially even a year, for us to fulfill the main goal, which is to go back up to a previous all-time high and probably higher. Chainlink is a must-have part of your portfolio, but from this exact level, I don't know. I haven't bought any since being out of the accumulation zone. Average price is probably about $6.50 or something like that. Very adamant about using this area wisely and taking advantage of it, and it was very gracious in allowing us to buy into it. But right now, the weekly holds at 1186, 200 exponential. You come down to that area, that would be a great position for a long-term portfolio position. And if we come down lower, you dollar cost average from here, and all the way down to 4 or 5 if you get it. I don't think you will. This is a really good looking chart. But short term, it's doing what everybody else is doing, which is rejection from the 200 exponential, death cross retest, and that is it. Right, so I'm just gonna leave it with you there. There's really not much more I need to say. It was just live streamed because my videos weren't uploading. They've uploaded now apparently. Now you've also had a live stream, a little bit of a taster of the overall market, which, you know, Bitcoin has a chance. But if we were to just focus on Bitcoin, which is driving the market, there's two ways to view it. One with the use of moving averages, which says we're looking at a technical breakout and maybe a retest of 65,500, and then that's it, bounce up, new all-time highs. Or you could view it like this, which is, here we go, another rejection from a lower high with this descending trend line of resistance, which runs the risk of creating a lower low. So you do have to trade safe, obviously. You know, there is no one direction that suits all. You know, traditional markets being your S&P futures currently up 0.5%, which is fine. Bouncing from a 4-hourly 200 exponential, which is nice. It is a golden cross retest. If you're going to get a bounce, you'll get it from there. But let's not hold our breath too much. And again, the Dixie sort of dripping down a little bit, bearish across the board for the most part. But that does not mean that it can't just flip, turn around, and go bullish again. Personally, I think we should be looking at some green today across the board, which may get fizzled out once again. But most altcoins are doing death cross retest. That is bearish. We don't want to go and get too overexcited about anything that we see today. But long term, I'm still very bullish on the market. The total 2 is the main key. The accumulation zone, we're still within it. We're at the top side of the range, but we're still within the accumulation zone, and we should stay hopefully within this range for another month or so, at least, before we break out. It's early days really for all these altcoins. It is early days. Right, thanks for watching, guys, and maybe I'll see you on the Patreon live stream tomorrow night if you want to join that. Links in the description below. Other than that, hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.